This is what's left of the 4 blanks of the Santa Rosa plum tree. The goal was to make similar bowls, but that was not the case. The wood, especially the sapwood, has little structural strength. I don't know why that is. Maybe the wood is deficient in lignin. If you know, please tell me in the comments below. The rest of this blank was so badly cracked that no amount of patching or gluing would have made it survive the stresses of bowl turning. So I made a pen blank out of what I could. But even this remnant, which is mostly heartwood, still has a significant crack in it, as you can see right there. And it goes pretty much all the way through the wood. I patched this with sawdust stained with India ink and bound together with CNA glue. I didn't try to camouflage this crack, but rather to emphasize it. I think that will work better for the final product. I'll put a link to the video showing how I did it in the show notes below. I expect as I turn this blank, additional cracks may show up, and when that happens, I'll stop and make further repairs. Then I'll continue. The pen kit I chose is the Rockler Antique Bronze Retro Rollerball Kit. It's the most complex pen kit that I've ever turned. The brass barrels are not only of different lengths, they're also of different diameters. So I have to take great care to see if to keep everything straight. So let's get started. As with all pen blanks, you start by sizing the blank to the brass barrels. And I'm doing that by eye, as I always do. This is a rough approximation of the barrel size. It has to be slightly bigger than the barrels. Now I'm marking the blanks, whether they're the lower tube or the upper tube, to keep them straight. Now off to the bandsaw. The instructions on this pen blank are inconsistent. On this page they say you drill the upper tube with a 1/2 inch drill bit, but on this page what they're calling for your accessory is a 31/64 inch drill bit, not 1/2. That's 1/64 of an inch shorter. I don't know which one is correct, so I will take a piece of scrap wood, drill a hole for each, and see which one this upper tube fits in better. It'll fit in both holes, but it is a tighter fit in the 31/64, so that's what I'm going to use. Instead of buying a pen vise for my drill press, I use the lathe as a horizontal boring machine. Takes a little bit of setup, but it certainly is cheaper than buying a vise. Of course, you have to buy the Jacob's chuck, but I get a lot of use out of that on various things that I do, and not just the pens. And of course, I'm having to stop and clear the bit every so often so that everything works fine. And now we switch to the other blank, and since it has a different size hole, I have to switch the bits. This one should be all right, but we're going to have to find out. This side is a bit off center, but I think it's okay with the amount of the blank that will be left after the turning. We'll find out. If it isn't, well, go to plan B. Or is this plan Q by now? I usually trim the ends of the pen blanks using a pen mill, but I was a little concerned about adding more stress to this blank because of the crack in it. So I spent the time to trim these pen blanks using my belt sander. It takes a little longer, but it's easier on the wood. This is my personal protective equipment for when I'm turning wood. It consists of a impact shield, face shield, and shop glasses, and a HEPA filter with positive pressure to the mask. It keeps all of that dust out of my nose and mouth, and thus my lungs. I'm very happy with it. It costs a lot of money, but I wouldn't turn without it anymore. When I started turning this blank around, the crack opened up again. So I had to stop and put more sawdust, India ink, and CNA glue on it. Now I'll start turning it again and it should hold completely. I may have to do some more fussing with it, but I think this will work fine. I do most of my turning on pen blanks using a spindle roughing gouge. Then I'm changed to a spindle detail gouge or some other tools for finer work and artistic work. But getting it down to the right dimensions, nothing's better than the spindle roughing gouge. I'm switching out the turning bushings, which I use to get the ends of the blanks down to the proper diameters, with my nylon universal bushings. These are used for finishing operations. Any finishing material that gets on them won't stick to them. I'm using CNA glue as the finish for this pen. That stuff will neither stick to these bushings nor will it glue the bushings to the pen blanks. Those bushings have to be cleaned up every so often, and they are sacrificial. I have to buy new ones from time to time, but they aren't expensive. I use craft paper as the medium to apply the glue. It came from Michael's, but I think it is also available at Hobby Lobby and other craft supply outlets. It doesn't do a perfect job of applying the CNA glue, but it is the best method I could find. The first coat always absorbs into the wood more than the later coats. I use medium CNA glue for this entire process. Some YouTubers recommend using thin CNA for the first coat and medium CNA for all other coats. I haven't found much difference between that method and this one. You can choose which method you want to use. I put on 4 to 6 coats, spraying accelerator between each coat. I wet sand this finish using micro mesh pads, going through the grits from 1500 to 12,000. The result is a durable glass-like finish. What I'm doing here is sanding the ends of the blanks to remove any extraneous CNA glue. If I don't do this step, the finish can crack when put into the pen clamp and pressure applied. Well, it took a bit to figure out what they were trying to say in these instructions, but I got it done, and this is what it looks like when it's in your pocket. It's not one of those that you can click and bring the pen out. It unscrews and you turn it around like that. That makes it a retro pen. Feels nice in your hand. So not bad. And we now have one bowl, one pen, and 2 candlesticks out of what was supposed to be 4 bowls. Well, sometimes that happens with the wood. It just doesn't want to do what it's supposed to do. But I think it'll all work out, and I think this made a nice pen. I'll ask the big critic about it, but we'll see what she says. Well, the critic loves this pen, so I've got it in the Christmas box. Haven't decided who I'm going to give it to yet, but probably one of the grandchildren will get it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Both of those help the channel. If you have any comments, I do read the comments as I get to them, and I will respond. Have a good time.